Spanish La Liga, and the English Premier League. 7 p.m. Mondays on Flow 94.9 FM. Look out for the Monday Night Raw segment.
So darkness upon Umaya, but we are here in the studio to do what we know how to do best on a Monday like this. It's Monday Night Football, the review show here on Flow 94.9 FM. And I must tell you, it's a packed house here in the studio. From the voice on the radio, TC Barra, to Adebayo, the man who loves to hit the bar, and a new damsel upon us in Daisy Michael, which I would introduce to you very shortly. My name is David Talks, host here of the show, but let's start by the man abreast of me, none other than the voice on the radio, TC Barra. A very good evening to you.
Well, it's a fine evening, yes, indeed. What a way to describe it. And indeed, it's a perfect time to talk about football, considering what's been happening in the Nigerian Professional Football League. We thought the history of, well, looking at the timeline of poor refereeing and all whatnot, or refereeing battering by supporters and fans, it's something that should have come to an end owing to the developmental strides, championed by the Nigerian football.
That's what TC was talking about. I know you're actually wondering, it's some sort of rougher kind of fight against referees in Nigerian Professional League. Who do we get to blame in this particular encounter? LMC? Are they really ready? They've talked. I said, let's watch out till 13th. Let's get to find out. But notwithstanding, it was a beautiful weekend. We got to see, the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal are doing what they know how to do best out there. The best team, did they get the better side of the day? It's Monday Night Football. I think this is why we are here.
Beautiful weekend and beautiful results indeed. Some shocking results there from the MPFL as well as from Europe. But over to Daisy Michael. A very good evening to you and thanks for coming through.
Good evening, TC. Good evening, David Talks. Good evening, Umahia. It's a pleasure to be here talking football.
It's a pleasure to be here talking football. So we begin from the home front, where action we did see over the weekend in the Nigerian Professional Football League match day 3 there. There were wins for Wiki Tories, wins for Kwara United, wins for Kada City, their first game in the top flight. Plateau United edged out El Kanemi Warriors, but surprisingly Heartland were winners over Nasarawa United away from home. So it puts the Nazi Millionaires top of Group B. There, what a start it has been from them. I'll start with you, TC. A 3-0 hammering of Plateau United in their opener, and now getting this result away from home to put them up there. 2 games they've played. They were not involved in the other one due to its postponement right there, but no goals conceded. I think this would do them a whole lot of good. This was a side that was destined for the drop. And it just looks as if the stroke of luck, the league had to be cut short abruptly, talking about last year, and Heartland have started off to a flyer.
Well, what a real margins and increase in momentum as they've been able to secure the wins and the results that they've got over the past few days. I'll give kudos to them nonetheless and say, congratulations to the handlers and management for, getting their acts together as compared to Abia Warriors, who are still finding it difficult to, more or less struggling to get to start in this Nigerian Professional Football League season. 3 games gone, some have been postponed, and we've seen, Heartland get to the top of the summit, which is like a good thing, and they did that with Plum, having defeated Nassau United at the Lafayette City Stadium, even after that same team had, beaten Abia Warriors, by a lone goal in the opener that was in Lafayette City. But looking at the tables and the standings, 3 goals, scored by Heartland. That gives them an edge ahead of El Kanemi, who have been able to, muster as much as 6 points as well in this particular season.
With the win against Kano Pillars under their belts.
Yes, indeed. But our very close neighbors, talking about the Nazi Millionaires, we understand what they went through last season, and you can imagine that anybody or any team that goes through such a misfortune, we want to go back to the drawing board to ensure that they start off with some high flying momentum, and that's been the case for them. I would say congratulations once again to Heartland Football Club, despite the fact they're not playing in Owerri. They're playing in Okigwe as it stands now, but they've been able to make it a home away from home, settling in, as quickly as possible and becoming very comfortable to, play the game. But more especially the fact that they've been able to do this away, which is what very few teams have been able to achieve this time around. We'll give kudos to them.
Kudos to them after a fine win away in Lafia against Nasarawa United. Well, Adebayo, let's talk about Plateau United here, the former league champions. There were 2-0 victors right there over El Kanemi Warriors. Plateau United having to face sanctions from the LMC due to the unrest and the attack at match officials on match day 1 against FC Fanyuba in that goalless draw. But they've put that behind them. After accepting the sanctions, they were able to muster a 2-0 victory against a northern outfit.
Okay, a million sanctions they got in that particular encounter, and it's a good lesson to be learned, whichever way it goes. It's a very good lesson to, actually come through. It's some sort of warning to other club side like that. But straight to the, question, being able to put that behind them, I must say I give them kudos for that. At the 55th and the 74th minute, they actually, came through. As Jubrin and Ovoke actually, came through to give Plateau United the goal. And they've talked, I must say, they are a fine side. We've known them, in the Nigerian Professional League. They are a fine side. Even last season when they were with a coach as good as Boboye, before coming forth to this particular season, they tried to put the ball on the floor. This is something they should always watch out for, because it is rare in Nigerian Professional League to see a side that'll put the ball down, knock you around, and make sure you get tired before they actually, send it home and make you, actually feel the pains of the defeat, actually. But I think putting the troubles, the trauma aside is something, but did they learn the lesson? Very important.
Very important. If they learned the lessons, well, we would find out, because we would also talk about Remo Stars who were involved in an attack on the referee after the match. You needed to see the referee's head there with the footage, pictures coming through on social media. He was battered, he was dehumanized. I would have to describe this. The shirt he wore, when he took it out, it was all with blood inside, soaked with blood there. How do we continue to condone this in our league? How do we stop this? How do we go about putting this to an end? The attack on match officials, it was unreal scenes there, I must tell you, in Shagamu, in Remo Stars game against Bendel Insurance. But Adeze, it's right here with us. I'll turn the mic over to her, right there, the mic with the yellow pouch. I have a yellow on my head right here. Adeze, let's start with Remo Stars before we go down to Eyimba, who were involved in the thriller away from home there against Kwara United. What can be done to salvage this situation?
Wow, it's actually, when I saw the pictures on the internet on Saturday, I was shocked. These things keep happening from time to time. It's not the first. And we ask ourselves, where are we going? We want our league to grow, MPFL, where are we going from here? LMC, are they really ready to come down hard on these clubs? Do they have what it takes? It's not just enough coming hard on them. This time around, they have to come hard and bite. Probably it's not even enough sanctioning them and taking them to another place to go play their home games. I think this time around, they should be excluded from the league and replaced with another league altogether. I think that alone will go down to even tell the owner. Unfortunately, the owner came and said that the referee was lucky to have not to have been killed. Who it's a very bad statement. I mean, it's not good for our league, and people are watching, people are listening. We need to really get things done well. We need to also sanitize the fans. We need to sensitize them. We need to tell them that coming to the pitch, you need to conduct yourself. You need to behave well. Let's also have a football without violence in the MPFL.
It's all about football without violence right there, but it was a real show of shame in Shagamu as Remo Stars played out a 1-1 draw with Bendel Insurance, but at the end of the day there was an attack on the match referee now, who is in hospital and still receiving treatment. So what are we expecting? A hammer there on Remo Stars surely from the LMC, but I don't mean to suggest, can clubs be banned from can they lose their status?
You know, they've talked, it's for the man that has not seen this thing happen. We've been in the stadium, okay, and we've seen these things happening. When it's about to happen, you begin to imagine what the referee has done. It happened sometime in our own stadium down here, Omaya Township Stadium, that the fans almost attacked the referee at the end of the day, and it was very obvious that our own Abia Warrior lost the match honorably. They got through, they had their chances, they couldn't take it, and the match was lost, and the fans came for the referee. And I'm like, what's going on? And they were like, if you cross over to the north, that you can't go to the north and officiate a match like this. Okay, so it took the intervention of the police force, okay, the security agent down there, to make sure the referee, as this guy just they end the match from middle of pitch there. Now so it a wrong come police van. It's that terrible, and I'm asking, is it football or is something else? Are we at war or something else? It's something. Then going down to banning a club, I think it should happen. It should happen so that other clubs will learn lessons.
Just like at
the indoor. This penalty they get to give, play 3 matches indoor, play 4 matches indoor without fans. But I think you can. For me, I think the good enough punishment to some level of violence should be strike out the club for the entire season, so that they get to know how serious it is or how serious it could be. Then the issue of cameras mounted across stadia.
Sorry to come in. And we hear they tried as much as possible not to let the incident to exactly. Yeah. But journalists were smart enough. They got everything so that the whole world will see.
You as a journalist, I think I'm speaking from experience now. You as a journalist, when we get to some of these stadia to see matches, you dare not even declare your personality, because you as a journalist, you're a target most times. Yes, I think this is here. So the experience is something awful.
Before we talk about Eyimba, T, I want to get your take on this, because Adekunle, Kunle, who is the chairman of the club, came out to say the referee was lucky. There were security men to guard. If not, he would have been beaten to a pulp right there, and said some of the decisions by the match officials on the day there.
The Remo Stars Bendel Insurance.
They were bizarre.
Well, for one, that game ended in a draw. Remo Stars would have expected that they, picked up a win in that particular encounter. Now, I saw certain footages of that particular game, many thanks to the journalists who were present on ground, who have brought that to the light of day. The referee also made some very erroneous decisions. There was a free kick from halfway down the pitch, that ended in the ball finding its way at the back of the net. But in the end, what transpired when he declared that particular goal null and void, and said it was a handball, actually triggered some of the instances which led to what we're discussing today. Many thanks to Tio of Magic FM Aba for bringing our clips to the light of day. But here's this thing I want to talk about. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yet you cannot justify your actions by your reaction. That's suffice to say, two wrongs can't make it right.
It can be a catalyst for violence.
The fact that someone made a mistake doesn't mean you have to take it all out on the person violently. We've seen cases where games in the English Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and the Bundesliga, and the rest of them have, become talking points weeks, months, years on after the referee has made his decision. That gave rise to the video assistant referee system. That gave rise to the goal line technology system, which we have in place today. And it was some of those incidences that helped develop that football. Pundits have come up with various sides of the coin as to the impact of some of these mechanisms that have been put in place, the VAR, the goal line technology, and all whatnot, and the fact that even in the UEFA you have more than 3 assistant referees, one even behind the goal, the post of the home and away team, just to monitor when the ball goes across the line. I think it's high time our football developed to the point where such a situation where South Africa had to replay a qualifier match, ahead of the World Cup, can be brought into place. When after a game, there's an assessment or a review of the decision of the referee, and the referee is called to bear appropriate sanctions.
Yeah, like the case of Joseph Lamptey, banned for life, would
be meted out to these referees to ensure that any person subsequently who is put in charge of a match would know that the fortunes of the team who you're handling is imperative that you make the right decisions. And when you're not sure of the decisions, you also get to seek the opinion of your assistant referees. That's why you have them there. Not just stand in the middle of the park, like as the case of Remo and Bendel Insurance, where the referee was almost close to the center half, and an incident that occurred in the 18-yard box, he was able to spot it and make an accurate decision, of which, if you looked at the video over and over again, you realize that human error can come into play. So, yes, our referees need to go for further training. Little wonder they're not being selected for major competitions. Something needs to be done about that. Kudos to the Glass House for trying to develop football and give these referees appropriate training. Also putting their feet down that certain prerequisites are provided by coaches or managers before they handle teams in the Nigerian Professional Football League, as is the case of the manager who was asked to let go of his job in Abia Warriors before what's his name Makinwa had to take over. So some of these incidences, yes, we're going to learn from the mistakes, but as is the case of Totis in the our folklore, he says you don't need to learn from your own mistake. Watch other people how they're going and see if you can work on those mistakes so that you don't end up making those mistakes.
Okay, let's move over now to Ilorin, because Sparks didn't fly and it was Eyimba who were away from home in a thrilling contest there at Daisy. 3-2 to the home team there, as Muhammad, the substitute, scored the winner.
Well, it was a game I was optimistic about. I said on air on Saturday that Eyimba should go out and get at least a point at Ilorin. But unfortunately, they tried. They got the first goal through Ibrahim Mustafa. Then before an equalizer from Shegun. Well, then at some point they lost concentration. Abdallah came to say that he has to give credit to Kora United. They actually deserve to play on the continental scene. I think not a bad performance from Eyimba. They need to come back home and learn from the defeat and move on. It's a relatively young squad, very good players. Oladapo, Okorom Stanley, the one they just signed from MFM, the short man that likes
Onoa.
Stanley Onoa, yeah. So they've got great players. The season is just starting.
The captain Abalogu.
Exactly, the season is just starting, so they can do very well. They have to come back home and learn from the defeat at Ilorin.
Indeed, they have to come back home and learn from the defeat there. But Eyimba handing out contracts there, extending contracts to some of their stars, so they are looking forward to a fantastic season. It's still early days. It's a marathon and not a sprint right there. But Adiba, you're grabbing the mic. You still want to add to that? Okay,
they talk like you said. It's a quickie. See, they've talked. I don't know. Even before we started the league proper, I don't know who actually noticed or who's been noticing, or we have been noticing, anyways. But we've not really made a hoot about it. Okay, but I'm gonna say it. It's only in our league that you go see club sign 15 players for season
Aqua United did that.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like that kind of thing. Where does it happen? These things.
Well, they want to have Team A, Team B, and Team C.
Man, these things are still haunting us till next year because we want to do kukere with the transfers. Do you understand? We want to do hook and crook. You get these things, they are there. You'll be served on a platter of not gold, of rotten things. And believe me, it's affecting us.
Okay, this is how they stand from Group A. Kwara United top with 4 points after their 3-2 victory over Eyimba. They're just a point ahead of the team they beat at the weekend. Eyimba in second position with 3 points. Wiki Tourists, 3 points, third on the log, and Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries Football Club, the Olukoya Boys, completes the top 4. Well, the bottom 3 now: Katsina United, Lobby Stars.
That's in Group A.
Lobby Stars not in action due to continental engagement.
Where they lost.
Where they lost. It was
to
sad.
ASEC Mimosa by.
But I kept hammering on this platform that I wonder if they had the tenacity, the professionalism, the I don't know, borrow me English.
I think.
See, man.
Ahead of the league, they had a poor stadium.
Financially, I think the financial aspect of it is the most challenging, guys. Is the most challenging because if you look at it financially, you find out that some matches, we keep saying it here, some matches they need to go in batches, man. That who does that? Like say 4 of us go first go, another set of 3 go, set of 2. Come on.
There was a rumor that was denied on Saturday how they forgot their training kits and all that.
The issues were
and
batches.
They debunked it.
CAF approved balls.
Okay.
That came from MPFL Live. I'll quote them. Batches. Then the appropriate jersey that they were supposed to use during training, wasn't what they were used. So they were charged, I think, $5,000. And that if they had to play the game, against ASEC Mimosa without the approved CAF batches, that would be a problem. Now here is the bigger problem. They could afford to actually ask, come on guys, do you guys have like some spare CAF jersey badges? Can we put on our jerseys? Because I heard they had contracted a former player to get them jerseys, the appropriate jerseys. But now the issue of the official badges to be put on the jersey was a problem. Now for the fear of juju, in quotes, they could not ask the home team for those batches, and as such, I don't know how they prosecuted that game, whether they went on to ask them or not. But here's the deal. For me, I feel if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Whoever are the handlers or the technical crew who should have prepared the balls, the jerseys, owing to the fact that we're not just going for any, it wasn't the NPFL fixture.
Kind of match.
This was a continental game. That's why, everything boils down to professionalism and readiness. That's why when there was an issue, I don't want to just oppose them with the fact that Enugu Rangers did, fare better in their own game. But
we will come to
yes, but I don't want to start comparing that.
But let's look at this now. Lobby Stars, it's well documented for them. They've not been great away from home. Even in the qualifiers of the CAF Champions League, they've lost games away from home and had to turn it around with the fans at the Cathedral and that stadium itself. So not really a surprise seeing them lose away at ASEC Mimosa right there. It's the second game of the group stage and they still have about 4 games to try and negotiate their way into the round of 16 rather. They did have a brilliant result against Mamelodi Sundowns in the first game rather, so you can not take it away from them at the moment. But let's continue and wrap it up from the NPFL side of things. They're Rangers bottom of the log, but not in action yet in Nigeria Professional Football League. And now to the Group B side of things. Heartland top there on 6 points after their impressive victory away from home against the solid miners Nasarawa United. El Kanemi Warriors in second position. FC Fayuba after that goalless draw in Shagamu against Remo Stars stay third, and Go Round FC of Omoku are in fourth position. The bottom 3 from Group B: Yobe Desert Stars, Gombe United, and the Ochendo Babes Abia Warriors, who did lose here the game we saw against Go Round FC of Omoku. Well, a lot of people have said they looked clueless in that particular game, but there's still room for improvement.
Well, that's what the chairman, Pastor Emeka Yama, has said, that he's hoping. You know, they did have a Thanksgiving service that was on Sunday, and that I hear was, you know, in a bid to set the tone for the season ahead. But in the end, well, if you're praying, everybody's praying. Who are you now praying then to? It was one God of football who answers the prayers of all footballers. But that's on the lighter note of things. I just feel that, you know, Makinwa didn't have enough time with his words, you know, ahead of the commencement of the Nigerian Professional Football League, as well as the fact that momentary loss of concentration by the players there against the side from Momoko, you know, would have cost them 3 points, where, you know, they had come from behind to level things up, courtesy of that penalty that was taken, you know, in the first 15 minutes of the second half. In the end, second game postponed. That's why it seems like they're marooned to the, you know, bottom of the log. But if they go out there and take advantage of the fact that teams are winning away from home this season, you should not play for a draw.
Okay,
That should have made a tactical, you know, approach
to get away.
Yes, indeed, because, you know, it used to be a problem in the Nigerian Professional Football League where you're coming and you're like, if we get a draw. Managers, coaches even say it during post or pre-match. Let's see what we can get out of this. If we can get the 1 point on the road, we're satisfied. But, you know, if you can look past your satisfaction of 1 point and see if you can, you know, undo teams like Aqua United were undone, you know, at home. Indeed, Nassau United that won Abia Warriors, who were defeated by Go Round. You know, we've seen, you know, wins by visiting teams, so it shouldn't be a news anymore. I think newsmen and journalists should even play down on away wins. If a team loses away, let them lose away. Let's give them credit for the fact that, you know, that they were able to achieve such a feat and treat it as normal. Then probably it will be treated that way.
Okay, let's talk continental football now, because the draws for the CAF Confederations Cup group stage were made in Cairo today, and Rangers International now face a Herculean task of qualifications to the next round there, which of course is going to be a knockout round. They will be up against Entente Setif, I beg your pardon, Etoile du Sahel and CS Sfaxien, both of Tunisia, as well as Salitas FC of Burkina Faso from Group B. Well, I'll start with you, Daisy. Rangers, having negotiated the CAF Confederations Cup, the qualification processes, they've done well there, knocking off teams, Bantu FC 4-2 on aggregate, and also having some brilliant results away from home. They won in Algeria and all whatnot there. How do you see them faring with the Etoile du Sahel, CS Sfaxien, teams that have won the CAF Confederations Cup on 4 occasions?
Well, I think I wouldn't want to sound pessimistic, but I think they have an uphill task to overcome these teams, having been that these teams have the experience. They've been there before. They know what it is to play at the CAF Champions League highest level, which is the final. But we're not going to write them off completely. It's a game of football, 90 minutes, anything can happen. 11 men against up 11 men, but I think they can get something, but I really do not see them coming out against these teams because of experience.
Because of experience. Well, Adiba, your Rangers are solid at home. You'd have to agree with me. At the Cathedral there, they've beaten the teams that have come. And with players in Godwin Aguda, Bright Silas, to mention but a few, Kevin Itoya, all in superb form there for the Flying Antelopes. How do you see them faring here? A lot of people are looking at the Etoile du Sahel and CS Sfaxien as the teams who could stop Rangers from moving through to the next round here. But we also have to talk about Sanitas there, the team who Rangers played their first game against. How important is that game for them?
You mean, I mean, they've talked, I think, on a lighter note, I must say, you know, once the service is at Cathedral, forget it. I think Rangers will have a good service. You know, what's come to worst becomes
normal service.
Yes, what's come to worst, they have a combined service, you know, at the end of the day. But with the experience they have had, I think I've said it. I said it on Saturday. I keep saying it, that I have more confidence in a team, a Rangers side, even before they upturned the entire destiny of ITO Cup and came out as winners there. I have more confidence in them as a result of the experience they have, better than a Lobby Star side that is having that quickie shaky. So I have more confidence in them. But looking at this, Etoile du Sahel is one team. I think, if you ask me, I'll say they are from hell. Yes, because go to the North African side, it is hell.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So having a Etoile du Sahel,
the crowd,
come from that hell, yes,
the support,
it's something,
the passion.
Exactly. It's something Rangers need to do more prayers at the cathedral to be able to overcome. So at this point in time, David's actually laughing. At this point in time, that's
but
my fear.
They say never say die. We are Rangers.
That's what I'm telling you. That's my fear. That it is my fear. Adese here stated that yes, we wouldn't completely write this script here and get to expect it to be acted out, on the pitch of play. No, it's a game of football. It's not a scripted kind of play. It is a play, but it's not a scripted play. So at the end of the day, 11 against 11. Let's see. They lock on. Let's see actually how it's going to be.
Enugu Rangers, or Rangers International, I beg your pardon, have to work their fingers to the bone to try and ensure they get out of the group stage. But in Group A3, Morocco teams were drawn against each other, with defending champions Raja Casablanca, Hassania Agadi and RS Bekane joined by AS Oto of Congo. Then from Group C, Zesco United of Zambia, Al Hilal of Sudan, Asante Kotoko of Ghana, and Kana FC from Zambia. Then finally, from Group D, we have Goma here, who did play Lobby Stars in the CAF Champions League and had to come down to CAF subsidiary competition. N.A. Hussein Dey of Algeria, Atletico Petroleus of Angola, and Zamalek of Egypt completes Group D there. So interesting and mouth-watering clashes to look forward to from the Total CAF Confederations Cup group stage, and it promises to be absolutely interesting and intriguing. Well, it's still Monday Night Football, the review show here on Flow 94.9 FM with David Talks, alongside the voice on the radio, Adebayo, the man who loves to hit the bar, and Daisy Michael. Well, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Head straight to flow-fm.com and just click on the bell icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Flow-FM 94.9. Flow-FM 94.9. Click the subscription and, just click on the bell icon so that whenever we pop up, you get a reminder.
Indeed. But you can also join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Flow949FM.
Yes, we do have a post put up.
So and running.
Yes, you can put your comments in the thread. As David would say, the blue lines.
The blue lines, or leave it on the thread. Or you can tweet at us using the hashtag Monday Night Football at Flow949FM is the ID. But what a game of football we witnessed at Emirates Stadium as Arsenal bounced back from a 1-0 defeat at the hands of West Ham to defeat Chelsea by 2-0. Manchester United made it 6 out of 6 in the Premier League, with caretaker manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer they're becoming the first United boss to win 6 out of 6 Premier League games. Pep Guardiola's team cut the gap on Liverpool to 4 points now with a 3-0 success at managerless Huddersfield Town, who've named a new manager just recently in Jan from Borussia Dortmund right there. And Liverpool in a thrilling game at Anfield, 4-3 it ended with Crystal Palace. That is next. Just a momentary detour here in Monday Night Football, the review show. When we come back, more analysis from T. Adebayo and Adizi. Stay with us.
So well no over moi. Uno free here that's for na pitch. Then you went 2 minutes to go and lose. Instead of got training, no 10 years challenge. I quit sharing by Europa League every Thursday, eh? Sano, Sammy Hemre, I were only 2 shots on target against Arsenal. Where I quote defense. And where the man, sir? Where the striker, sir? Oh, Oya Kokwa. Here, eyeglass now, Zam Dike, a presidential debate. Amount on our ball. But it's a regular Namazi him name because I put her as a striker. Oh, like one I broke out. Now looking like we don't have striker. Give an echo if you know how to score. A guy on a bench there who's a striker. Come and billiard to us and mind your business. Okay, also a question of tactics. He gave me 1 more for 90 minutes. Bench I got for. You go, sir, yes, sir. When you man sign as a boss striker, I'm not sign Nakota Gerard Namorata. Sir, shut up there. This is the latest show and you're listening to Monday Night Football with...
Did you see all the great weekend games? We still got more for you.
And we're ready to strike.
News and updates from the Nigerian National League, the Nigerian Professional Football League, Italian Serie A, the French Ligue 1, German Bundesliga, Spanish La Liga, and the English Premier League. 7 p.m. Mondays on Flow 94.9 FM. Look out for the Monday Night Raw segment.
Well, the game used to be one of the highlights of the Premier League back in the years, Arsenal versus Chelsea right there. But both teams headed into the encounter at the weekend in contrasting fortunes. Chelsea there not hitting form since December, but had a 6 points lead over Arsenal and could have made it 9 with victory. But the Gunners turned in with a superb display of intensity and high pressing as Unai Emery's men got the goals there in the first half through Laurent Koscielny as well as Alexander Lacazette there with the crackerjacker of a goal there, buccaneering finish. Well, I'll start with TC. A great game of football we saw at the weekend. Nonetheless, Chelsea not really coming to the party, but Arsenal were great in the things they did.
You know, first and foremost, I have to acknowledge the fact that Daisy has been shaking her head. You're a Chelsea fan, I beg your pardon. Okay, all right. I'll just put it this way. Chelsea fans have been they've been on the quiet side over the weekend, and I can understand. I saw that game in one of the noisiest pubs in Umuahia City, and I can imagine how, quiet that particular spot was, when the first goal came. Very few people responded. The second goal came, and there were near misses of and in the end the scorelines remained 2-0 in favor of the Gunners. Unai Emery seems to have salvaged himself in a big way because he did it against one of the biggest teams in the English Premier League, Tottenham. Led by
Tottenham Hotspur. They beat Tottenham at Emirates.
Well, I'm talking about Chelsea. Because before now it's just been like, Unai Emery has just been like a seasoned winner. If I had to describe it that way, I don't want to give credit to Arsenal for defeating Chelsea, but more or less like hard luck for the Blues, because at that point in time, it seemed like a problem for them to find the back of the net, coming as close as hitting the woodwork. Terrible situation.
Okay, but we do have the midfield maestro, Eval Edu, on the line as an Arsenal. We do have the midfield maestro, Eval Edu, on the line there, and he's going to give us his thoughts as to how Arsenal will take confidence from the weekend's victory over Chelsea. A very good evening to you, Eval, and thanks for coming to Monday Night Football.
Thank you very much, David. Good evening to you. Good evening to all the guys in the studio, and good evening to people of Umuahia and its environs. Nice to be on your show this evening.
Okay, thanks for coming
I think, thank you very much. To your question, well, Arsenal and seeking confidence from that win over Chelsea on Saturday evening. Well, I don't think it will inspire Arsenal that much. We've seen Arsenal go on a streak of unbeaten run, 22 games in all competitions, including the Premier League. But after that, the normal thing struck them. Injury worries, suspension, and Arsenal was spiraling down once again. So it's what kind of Arsenal turns up to play the next game, and the next game, and the next game after that. Okay. We saw how poor they were against West Ham. We saw how good they were against Chelsea in the first half. It could be another poor Arsenal against Crystal Palace or whatsoever. So with Arsenal, there's no consistency. There's nothing sure about this. These 3 points might just be smoke to the least.
Okay, but looking at the race for the top 4 now, significantly the gap has been cut to 3 points. It could have been 9 with the Chelsea win. So Unai Emery must be saying to himself and his players in there, we got a chance of going into the top 4 because the season is still a long time before it comes to a climax.
Yeah, certainly. Everyone got a chance to be in the top 4 these days. Even Tottenham's place is not guaranteed in the third position. But I think if there's any team that has confidence and impetus to push for this top 4 more than anybody else, it used to be Manchester United. They were 8 points behind when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was appointed manager, but today they've narrowed that gap and they are level on point with Arsenal, 3 points behind Chelsea. United are a different team altogether. They play with more joy, they play with more confidence, free-flowing football, attacking one, and they are ready to expose their opponent. They have an array of talent up front. The defense is beginning to look like one that can hold a little bit. The midfield is sticking once again. Paul Pogba, Herrera, and Matic are doing a good job. I even put United ahead of Arsenal, and Chelsea in terms of finishing in the top 4 because United have momentum. Chelsea and Arsenal don't have. Chelsea have the problem of looking for of scoring goals these days. No proper number 9 in that team. Eden Hazard playing false 9 position in majority of the games. He's been isolated and there's been nothing to come out of him. Oliver Giroud not good enough for a number 9 these days. Alvaro Morata on his way to Atletico Madrid on loan. We had the deal be confirmed at the end of the day. So Chelsea have a problem with the number 9 position, and their defense is as well very leaky. For Arsenal, they can score lots of goals, but they can concede as well. They can come out very poor on a very good day. They can be very good on a very good day as well. So if there's anything that has consistency and confidence in this top 4 battle, it has to be Manchester United. They are even having a good run of games these days. They have dealt with Tottenham successfully. The only thing left for them to do now is maybe is Arsenal, Chelsea, as well as Liverpool and City. And I think they can pick points from other games. These are the games they can pick points at because United is United, and that confidence is back into that game.
Okay, well, finally, before I let you go, Hector Bellerin doesn't look good there from Unai Emery speaking today there on Sky Sports there. Is there going to be a movement in the transfer market with less than 14 days to go there to try and replace him?
I don't think so because Unai Emery said there's no replacement for the injured Hector Bellerin. And we heard it's a long-term injury. It's going to take at least 2 to 3 months before he comes back to playing, which is as good as the end of the season. And Kroenke has stated there are nobody should expect any January signings for Arsenal except loan moves. And who is out there, a proper and decent right back who is ready to come in on loan. Arsenal still have Maitland-Niles who can deputize in that position. Arsenal has Carl Jefferson, which we saw in the FA Cup game against the lowly ranked Blackpool. We also have Stefan Lichtsteiner, the veteran, who is also there on the bench. So I think there's no problem for us now when it comes to who can fill in the boots for Hector Bellerin until they find a replacement. Okay, until he comes back now from injury. So there's no problem in terms of Hector Bellerin. They have capable hands to fill in the void. But in terms of coming in, I don't think Arsenal will sign anybody to replace him now.
Okay, Val Edu, the midfield maestro, many thanks for coming through Monday Night Football, the review show.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine.
Well, the race for the top 4 continues there with Manchester United and Arsenal now 3 points behind Chelsea. But let's look at the other side of the coin. Daisy, I'll put you on now with Chelsea putting in a poor and shambolic display at Arsenal there. It looks as if it was pre-season training, and Maurizio Sarri had a remarkable press conference where he refused to speak in English and needed an interpreter speaking in Italian, and he says he wants to make or wants to pass the message clearer to his players. And he went on saying that this group of players are difficult to motivate. Talking about your players in that light and in the media these days is deemed as you not giving them a lot of confidence. That's with them attached with the modern day player now. So how can Chelsea salvage what it's looking like a drought up front for them?
Well, I think Chelsea in the past have been proven to have one of the most powerful dressing room. I was surprised he went hard on the players. And the players he's going hard for, he questioned their mentality. We have 2 World Cup winners in that squad. We have a lot of EPL winners in that squad. And they've played football and they know what it is to be champions. They have the championship mentality. What is the problem? The problem is Maurizio Sarri. He's married to a rigid system, Sarri ball, that has not suited some significant players in Chelsea. N'Golo Kante, for one, didn't make FIFA Best 11 playing as an attacking midfielder. He made that name because he's a natural number 4 defensive midfielder. Now, looking at Eden Hazard, the focal man, Eden Hazard is not a false 9. He relishes playing from the left flank, where he destroys opponents, where he creates goals and where he flourishes. But a certain Sarri came in and wants to make Hazard a false 9. Looking at the game on Saturday, if he had put Pedro at the false 9 and then left Hazard on the left flank, probably would have gotten better. Intelligent managers in EPL have found a way now to play against Sarri ball system. That is what happened against Arsenal. Emery looked at how Tottenham beat Chelsea. He went and saw the clip, and that was exactly what they did. From the very first minute to the last, they didn't let Chelsea. They pressed so hard. They wrestled. Ramsey was everywhere at the midfield. And then you want to question the Sarri system. I mean, Sarri needs to go back to the drawing board and get his tactics right. And he's very, very, very stubborn. He's saying that that he's a good teacher, that the Sarri ball will work. But I doubt. The Sarri ball may not work. Yes, he's looking for Higuain. There's no striker. But I don't think it's a Higuain issue. This is an English soil. Higuain may have done wonderfully well at the Italian league, but this is EPL, a tough ground. Morata has come, he has seen it, and he's a flop. I think Sarri should adjust, tweak his system a little bit. That is how to know a good manager. Jurgen Klopp played against he plays again. He has 2 stars. Either he deploys the 4-3-3 formation or he comes 4-5-1, depending on opponents. An intelligent manager tweaks systems depending on opponents. So Sarri should get his tactics right.
Sarri should get his tactics right. But we have Toby all the way from Abuja just to give us more on Chelsea and with the impending arrival of Gonzalo Higuain with Alvaro Morata moving away. Very good evening to you, Toby, and thanks for coming through on Monday Night Football.
Good evening, David. Good to join you on the show.
Yes, what's the feeling like after Saturday's loss to Arsenal there? Chelsea could have gone 9 points clear of Arsenal with a win, but they turned in with a tepid display.
Oh, yeah, you're right to say that. I mean, nobody saw that coming. Everyone was expecting Chelsea going into that game to do a decent job, probably at least get a draw, but not to lose. I think, I don't know, but it just shows that Chelsea still have a lot of work to do. Maurizio Sarri has got his work cut out for him and he has to improve his side. And, I mean, it can either get worse or get better for Chelsea that is lost.
Okay, we have analysts right here in the studio from The Voice on the Radio to Adebayor and Adeze. Well, Adeze, who has sentiments with Chelsea, was talking about the insistence of Maurizio Sarri playing the 2 best players of the club out of position. N'Golo Kante shunted to the right-hand side and Eden Hazard in the false 9 role. We all know N'Golo Kante's antecedent as a world-class holding midfielder, defensive midfielder. What's this about Sarri's stubbornness to continue to play those 2 players out of position?
I think if you've noticed managers in the history of football, they are always very dogmatic. I mean, they always choose to stay with what they believe in. And as a manager, you always want to change whenever you don't win. It just doesn't make you any other than just a normal manager. So I think from the side, this is the best style he can play, and this is what he believes in. So I think he has to stick with it. And for those who complain about him playing constantly out of position, please understand that in current system, there is no DM. You have a deeper playmaker, and that's strategy. So work of the other mission supporting him are more like box-to-box midfielders. So they try to support in terms of defense approach and all of those things. Kante's role right now is no longer a DM because in this system there is no DM. He is just a box-to-box midfielder. And if you're honest with yourself, you know that Kante's output has been beast, and he's got more assists, he's got more goals, and he's very good going forward and coming back. So I don't think it's right to come out and talk about Mordecai playing Jorginho and sticking with him in a different position when you know that in system he's playing, there is no Kante playing as deep as you want him to play. As for Hazard, I don't know what I'm saying that Hazard is playing in a false position where we have seen how over the past few years Chelsea have tried to play in position. Antonio Conte did it a couple of times this season. Chelsea won the title, and also he scored 17 goals, and at some point he was playing as a false nine too. So because Chelsea are not winning games, everyone can come out and say Chelsea are is getting it all wrong, playing Hazard as a false nine. Don't forget that in Sarri's system, he needs attackers to press. He needs his wide men to press, come forward and come back. Hazard doesn't do that. Hazard doesn't go forward and come back easily. He chooses to, chooses when he wants to defend and chooses when he wants to attack. So if you want to play with your wingmen coming forward and coming back, you need to play Hazard centrally, not just out wide. So I don't think it's right to come out and start blaming this game.
Okay. Van Toby, thanks very much for coming through on the show there. We understand that Alvaro Morata will join Atletico Madrid in the next 48 hours, so we wish him the very best. But nonetheless, thanks for coming through on Monday Night Football, the review show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Please.
So you've just heard from Toby, Eval, and the analyst right here in the studio. We're still talking European football there in the Premier League. Let's get to hear from you now. You can join us by hitting us with the number 0808-182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. Let's feel a little bit from you this evening with regards to the weekend games. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, David Talk.
Yes, a very good evening to you. Thanks for coming through. What's your name?
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Good evening to the analyst in the house.
They are saying good evening to you.
Okay. Please, I want to talk about the Nigerian league. That is the most important thing. Just like the Minister for Sports, is just a square peg in a round hole. We want to get Nigeria out. There are a lot of things that LMC are supposed to do, which I don't think that the present government and the present Minister for Sports is willing to do it. Just like see maybe where you are saying that they are bringing VAR to Nigerian leagues. A lot of issues are happening in this league ever since these Nigerian leagues are there, and we are not getting better on daily basis. So we need to change a lot of things and change the sentiments of the referee and the the analysts and the journalists that do cover the matches. So a lot of things that are happening in the Nigerian league is not supposed to be so. Then finally, concerning Chelsea and Arsenal, I'm a Chelsea diehard fan. That thanks you so much that we love Chelsea. But I keep saying it that ever since they remove the fact that
Conte,
the governor of Chelsea, former governor that went back to Atletico Madrid. That's where our problem lies.
Diego Costa.
From striker. They should bring him back.
Okay, thanks for coming through on the show there. Diego Costa unceremoniously sent away from Stamford Bridge as Antonio Conte sent a message to him that he wouldn't be needing his services in the upcoming season. But he's now with Atletico Madrid and still battling his way at the Wanda Metropolitano. But phone line still buzzing here. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, David Talks.
Yes, thanks for coming through. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel, but my friends jokingly call me the Prince of Madrid. Good evening, GC Bara.
Very good evening to you. Very good evening.
Good evening, Adebayo and Ade. It's always good to hear the ladies talk football on air.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah. Let me start this way. Please, I'm begging every one of you, TC and all of you, please don't go into the field. I know that all of you are journalists. Please don't go into the field as far as Nigerian football is concerned, so that you continue to be safe and sound. So the way things are going in our football is very appalling. So let me congratulate Rangers. Hello.
Yes, we are here with you.
Let me congratulate Rangers for making us proud.
Okay.
Even though they found themselves in a difficult group. Adesa is being pessimistic, but Rangers will prove them wrong. They are playing at the cathedral, and they have so many congregations, so many church members that will be praying behind the scenes for them. So they will make it out from that group. And then to Europe, I am happy for Real Madrid winning their game against Sevilla. It's a morale boosting game.
Okay.
Even though Barcelona have refused to drop points. Anyway, let them continue to win La Liga. We're waiting for them at the Champions League.
Okay.
That is where we're waiting for them. And then finally, Chelsea, I don't know what their problem is. Maybe they need a pastor for prayers, because this is the problem did not start today. So Chelsea fans should consult a pastor. Maybe come to me for prayers.
For cleansing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for coming through on the show there. He's asking Chelsea, or suggesting Chelsea could come to him for prayers. Their phone line still buzzing. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. You are not ready for us. When you're ready, you call us back. Let's take one more for the road. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Owerri.
Hi, Owerri. Hi, Owerri this evening. Please, can you change position a wee bit to allow us hear you clearly? The communication is not effective.
Okay.
It's still indecipherable. I have to let you go. Do try to call us back. I did see one for the road. Let's just carry this one before we run out of the studio. Hello, good evening. That one got away from us, and that wraps it up on the call segment right there. But it's been a wonderful time here on the show here with the guys, the gentlemen here in the show. And many thanks to the voice on the radio for coming through on the show. Many thanks to Adebayo and Adeze. It's been a wonderful time with you here on the show.
Well, on Facebook, we do have some comments that have trickled in. Arsenal have really punished Sarri. No more Sarri ball. It's now called sorry ball. This is coming from Beatrice B. Marcus. Obar Frank says, I rep Heartland. Tim Boyman says, good evening. Sarri should be careful, else if you know, you know. Some of the comments are, coming through on Facebook.
Well, we had to allow some of those comments to come through right there. But, gentlemen, thanks for coming through on the show. It's been a lovely time with you.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's how far we can go with Monday Night Football, the review show here on Flow 94.9 FM. Many thanks to all that stayed tuned, and thanks to Val and Toby for coming through on the show as well. But leave your dial steady here on Flow 94.9 FM, because top of the hour is the State of the Nation with none other than Michael Oni, the journalist of international repute and Guinica. Have a lovely evening ahead.